As a product professional, what is your favorite conference to attend? We have a lot of good options, but mine has been Ignite Innovation, which the Product Development and Management Association, PDMA, runs annually. I attended the first one in 2006 after hearing about it in a local group of product professionals. Since then, I've attended most years when I could, and I will be there again this year, 2025. And it's being held at the Marriott Marquis in Chicago, great property, from September 13th to the 16th. This episode is going to discuss examples of what we have learned at past conferences and what we expect to learn this year. Joining me are two board members from PDMA. They're also the co-chairs for the committee planning the conference, Reed and Spike Ross-Corbett. I'll ask them to introduce themselves in just a moment. If you're listening to us and would rather watch the discussion, simply go to our YouTube channel, search for Product Mastery Now on YouTube. Let's jump in right after this.
How can you unlock your full potential as a product manager? We're sharing the product management insights you need. They are based on the 7 research-backed knowledge areas for product mastery. You'll learn to create products customers love, enhance your influence, and elevate your career. Welcome to Product Mastery Now, hosted by Dr. Chad McAllister, product management professor, practitioner, and your guide.
Spike, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, Chad. We meet again.
We meet again. I'm delighted to be talking with you guys. First, you both have had a good deal of product experience in different product roles. Let's just get a little ground set here. Bill, what are you working on now?
Well, Chad, I've been working in innovation and product development for the majority of my career, multiple roles, different levels, different companies. Currently, I'm working at Boulder Imaging, a company that makes vision inspection systems for industrial products. And I lead the team that includes hardware engineering, project management, professional services, and production. I've been here for about 3 years, and in that time, the company has doubled in size.
Wow.
And right now, we are up around 100 employees. And as you can imagine, with that growth, there is a critical need to evolve our processes and capabilities to ensure that we're able to deliver on our commitments to the customers. And so I've been utilizing a lot of the tools found in the PDMA body of knowledge and working to implement structured innovation process and drive operational effectiveness without slowing us down too much.
Yeah, there's a lot more there to your rich history of work in aerospace and manufacturing in different areas. How many patents are you up to now?
24.
24. Okay, very good. So
yeah, it stayed pretty level.
Yep. Yeah, you guys are into AI and doing all kinds of fascinating things to recognize part defects and other interesting things to do with cameras and video. So,
yeah,
great.
One of our coolest things is we got a system that tracks eagles on wind farms, so it protects them from the turbines, which is really cool.
Yep, very cool indeed. Fantastic. Glad you're with us. Spike, what about you? What kinds of things are you involved in now?
Hi, Chad. Thanks again for having us. So I lead product development at Portland Marketing Analytics. We're a market research firm in Portland, Maine, and we help brands and agencies capture the effectiveness of their experiential marketing campaigns. So, and what we're working on right now, it's pretty cool. We've developed this event ROI toolkit that basically streamlines the entire process from measuring and analyzing and reporting on your experiential marketing data. Basically, we're taking that old adage of give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And that's what we're doing. We're teaching people how to prove the impact of their campaigns and optimize for future campaigns. So we got tools and resources and how-to academies and robust benchmarking database. And you can even upload your own data and compare how your campaign is going and compare against the industry benchmarks. So we got a lot more on the horizon, but that's what we got going on right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, thanks for the overview on that. The marketing and market research, customer research aspect is always one of my favorite areas when it comes to product work and how do we understand what the customer wants and then influence them as well to recognize we have a solution for their needs. I kind of want to start with a lightning round. It might feel like a little bit longer lightning round, but to quickly go around, maybe round robin fashion, about something that we have learned from a previous conference at PDMA and we'll quickly get some great insights out for everyone listening. Thought we would do 3 each, and I'm sure one at a time here. Bonus points if you can also remember who shared it and maybe where and when that was, as the conference is at a different location each year. Bill, you want to kick us off with one?
Sure thing. So my first one is in 2022 in Orlando. Geoff Thatcher was one of the keynotes. And Geoff is a designer who develops experiences for theme parks, museums, corporate visitor centers, etc. And in his talk, Geoff was able to build on the process that they utilize for that incredible experience and those attractions, apply it to how you can better develop products and your product experience with your customers through the process of the steps of attract, trust, inform, internalize, and act. And I'll give you a shout out right now, Chad, that your listeners can learn more on episode 423, where Geoff joins you and discusses it.
Nice, Bill.
You said that, and I went, yeah, I love Geoff. And Geoff is what, like 6'4", and he wore this bright, very handsome man, wore this bright blue suit to do that keynote. And it was so visually engaging. He did such a good job showing pictures of theme parks that he has helped to design and the contributed designs, and very interesting. And we were in Orlando, the home of theme parks. So,
Yeah.
Okay, good one to kick us off. Spike, what's your first one?
So my first one was from New Orleans, and it was Andrea Ruttenberg doing voice of the customer research. And now this is in my wheelhouse, but it was just the way she laid it out in a needs-based approach and really highlighted how paramount it is to develop these customer needs and get insight into this. Because you hear all the time, like people think they know what they're doing, but you have to ground it in this. And people need to understand that this is the most important thing. And for her to really hammer that home, that sticks with me a lot. I don't remember the room number, but I would imagine I get bonus points for that. But it was New Orleans. I remember that.
Yep. She's great. She has an interesting background,
Oh yeah.
PhD researcher, and knows the market research space really well and brings good insights. So, okay, love that. So my first one, and I don't know what your guys' first conference was. So my first conference was 2006. And I didn't look up any dates, so you guys got me beat on all this. My guess is this was like 2007 or so, and it was Marissa Mayer, which people probably know as the CEO of Yahoo. But before that, she was at Google. And at this time, when she was at the conference, she was a product manager. So she stands out as employee number 20 at Google, first female engineer hire, and the first product manager that came internally from engineering. And she shared the story of she was product manager at the time for Gmail, and the product team, one of the engineers came up with the idea of when you're looking at your email, what we should do is have a window on the side that pops up and shows you advertisements for things that are related to what's in the message. And she said, this is happening late at night. They're like leaving the office around 1 o'clock, she said, because I guess you work all the time, at least in the early days at Google. And I said, that's a terrible idea. People are going to find this really creepy to see that we're reading their message, responding to that. And the guy goes home and works through the night to program it up anyhow, because they have this 20% kind of culture where you're encouraged 20% of your time to work on your own thing, whether anyone cares or not or supports it, right? That to infuse the organization with new ideas. And he came back the next day and showed it around, and it got a lot of interest, and that's what became AdSense, which is what made them profitable. They weren't before that. So I just thought it was a good example of like, yeah, even when you hear those ideas that you think aren't good, having a culture that frees you up to let you pursue ideas that are interesting is still pretty powerful. Okay, and by the way, just because of her being so well known, this was a pretty captivating keynote, right? I think there were about 600 people in the room, and I can see why she became such a powerful leader, because people were just hanging on what she had to share, and she was very enthusiastic and conveyed well her points. Back to you, Bill. What's the second one for you?
So the second one for me is from 2015 in California at the Disneyland Hotel when we had the conference out there. It was my second conference. My first one was 2014 in Denver. I could have thrown that one in because there was one of the sessions there was a thing about design of bottles for whiskey and how different
I remember
bottles look
that.
better, but the whiskey may not be the best. And we got to taste whiskey. So that was kind of a really cool
Yep.
event.
That'll stay.
But yeah, in 2015 at the Disneyland Hotel, this isn't really something I learned directly in a session at the conference, but they did a thing that year because downtown Disney was right there where you could sign up on a sheet just to go to dinner with 10 random people that you didn't know. And so you just all met in the lobby of the hotel, walked down to the restaurant, spent the evening at the restaurant talking, and it was those conversations about innovation, the challenges we're facing, the talks from the day, things we had learned, and getting really deep into those discussions. And the best part is I made several connections at that event in 2015 that I still talk to those people today. And so it's been really cool just how that over the years we would meet at the summit each year up through COVID. Then some of them dropped off going to the summit, but hoping that a lot of them would be keep coming back and everything. But we still talk, connected on LinkedIn and everything, and reach out to each other occasionally when we need career help and everything. So that to me that was really a very important part about the conference.
That's a great networking experience. That just sounds like fun too. I would be up for that. Get to meet new people at dinner. Spike, number 2 for you.
Number 2 would be, this is actually from Orlando, a couple of years ago in Orlando, which was my first PDMA conference. And this was Peter Monkhouse, and he did this presentation on adaptive iterative approach to product development. And it's like a focus on products being built in like manageable increments so you can pivot and do things like that. But the big takeaway is this idea of embracing the uncertainty, because that uncertainty can be intimidating to people, right? It could be almost crippling in some points, but especially for newer product managers. But if you understand this idea that uncertainty is there and you can embrace it and be able to somewhat track it and just go with it, that whole idea really stuck with me. Like, okay, we can keep going. There's going to be uncertainty. Like move on in these increments, and that really helped with confidence too, really.
Yeah. Understanding that there's a process underlying that is important.
Yeah.
Organizations struggle with innovation because of that very nature. It's uncertain. If we're doing something new,
Right.
there's going to be uncertainty involved, and we're going to make some mistakes along the way until we figure it out. But the value in getting it right at the end is really important for organizations'
Yeah.
growth. So,
And
like
it's
that.
okay. Uncertainty is good. It's okay. Like, to
Mhm.
embrace it.
Peter's a Canadian, is that right? Is he from Canada? Do you remember this?
Yes, I believe he is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember him speaking what you just shared, but I remember him being at that conference. So it's hard to make all the sessions, right? So
Yeah.
sure I missed something.
To shout out the Peter Monkhouse episode.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad to hear. So far, I have had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of these people on the podcast,
Yeah, exactly.
even before they were at the conference. Okay, so my second one is I've used this example many times, and I feel embarrassed. I had to go look up her name again because I knew I wanted to share this, and I had to go find it. Sarah Robb O'Hagan. She was the leader of Gatorade at the time, and I'm pretty sure this is the last time we were in Chicago, maybe 2016. I'm not quite sure when that
It
year
was
was.
2017 or 2018. 2016 was Atlanta.
Okay, very good. And remember being in the large ballroom down in the conference area in the hotel there. And she spoke such a dynamic presentation. So she was leading Gatorade, and Gatorade was on the decline. I think Powerade had come into the market, and they were losing market share quickly, and things weren't going great. And she talked about how they did qualitative interviews, so one-on-one interviews with 12 high school athletes, and turned around the company. And specifically was recognizing that these athletes were talking about that they need some pre-nutrition workout help. They need some post-workout recovery help. And it's more than just needing the beverage. But the power, and we all know this pretty well, Spike, this is certainly in your wheelhouse, the power of qualitative interviews And we don't have to have a lot. We're not talking hundreds. There's this original research paper by some old PDMA people as well. Kathy Griffin and John Hauser, who wrote the original paper on voice of the customer research. And 20 interviews kind of gets you to saturation that you talk to people. And I just thought that was such a great sharing of the power of interviews. And a pretty good example. 12 interviews turned around the future of Gatorade and brought them back from decline and set them on a path forward to coming back to dominate the market again for a while. I don't know where they are now, but that was pretty cool.
That's a really good one. I like that one, Chad.
It's a great story. I love sharing it. Okay, Bill, number 3 for you.
So, number 3, last year, St. Louis. The 2 OCI winners, when they spoke and they had a common theme, oh, did I just take your Spike?
You took one of mine.
Maybe. Keep going. We'll just keep going.
Go ahead.
Maybe.
So, just the common theme that they had around how they were building a culture where everyone in the organization is an innovator. Time back even to your first one with the Google, and the 20% of your time is working on what you believe in. But, they were training every individual in their company had to go through an introduction to innovation training, and then they had different levels of training. And it wasn't just for their product teams or their engineering teams, it was for everyone in the company, and really showing that power of how just getting that mindset on your team, that mindset that everyone's a problem solver. If you see the problem, you can find a solution to it, and providing them with just simple tools, not even the more complex tools, but simple tools to help them do that, and how it was helping their companies grow and helping the individuals, and the individual stories that they told were really cool. There was one about a gentleman at DFW who worked in the custodial department, and he was quiet, didn't really talk much, just went about his job. And he went to through their training, then he went through one of their all-day events and ended up leading a project to help them increase the amount of recycling of glass at DFW significantly. And he just took it and ran with it and just kind of came out of a shell and blossomed. And that was really cool. And then it was also cool because we had other talks at the session that tied into that, where other speakers were kind of coming in and bringing in that same tone of, you got to let everybody innovate. Doug Hall, Stop the Stupid, another podcast, but it's very simple. Just get your team to stop the stupid.
Yeah. Okay, so back up and tell us what OCIs are.
OCI is the Outstanding Corporate Innovator Award that PDMA gives out each year. And it's for corporations that are really leading edge in how they do innovation. It's a very rigorous process. It takes about 6 months total to go through the process from nomination until we select the award winners. There's an on-site interview with the companies that are applying, where we go through their innovation process, understand how they're doing it, what their metrics are for gauging their success, and looking for what are the best next practices. So trying to expand the body of knowledge at PDMA by bringing in what are those next things that those really innovative companies are doing to really drive innovation.
Yep. Yeah. And DFW was a standout presentation too, right? Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
Yep. Both of them last year.
Yeah, they were both great. But I was surprised. It caught my attention. An airport has a VP of innovation. They have an innovation program. I did not understand the scale of that operation. They're the world's third busiest airport. Yeah. Spike, it sounded like Bill may have stolen one of yours as well. But what
Chad,
do you have?
can I add one thing in?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
Just one more thing. The other interesting part about DFW that actually challenged PDMA was they're a public entity. So they don't gauge innovation by ROI and vitality index. They gauge it by how they're performing to their mission. And so that caused us to step back and think about, well, how do we judge a company like that to say, yes, they are an outstanding corporate innovator? And so it allowed growth there, and really is like, yeah, you don't have to be a product company to innovate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with my professor hat on, I teach at the University of Fredericton, which is a Canadian-based school, and a lot of the students are in government roles and in nonprofit companies as well. And so we spend time talking about those kind of social metrics and how do you look at measuring innovation from different perspectives than just return on investment sort of thing. So I'm glad you pointed that out. I didn't think about that for DFW. Spike, what's yours?
All right, so Bill clearly is remote viewing my notes here, but I want to reiterate what Jody Brinkerhoff did at DFW, and it was just so powerful, that OCI presentation. And it was that what I wrote down, everyone is an innovator. Everyone can be an innovator. And that's what we try to do at PDMA as well. But it's from the autonomous tech to the recycling that Bill mentioned. It's empowering people to be innovators as well, but it's changing the entire culture. It's creating a culture of innovation at DFW. It's so big that
Yep.
these initiatives that they put forth is amazing. And it really, I was blown away by what they were doing, especially to Bill's point, as a public entity. It's incredible to be able to change the culture in the way that they did is very powerful.
Mm-hmm. So I will triple down on this.
Why not?
I'm going to add a bonus one in after this, but because Jody was on my list too. It's interesting that we were all impacted by the DFW story of innovation as an Outstanding Corporate Innovation Award winner too. And Jody, again, very dynamic presentation. Did a great job. But I have shared what she had shared, and this might have been. I had the pleasure of interviewing her for the podcast, and I don't know if she shared this at the conference or not. But when we talked, she talked about the onboarding of employees, because how do we help prepare employees to be part of the innovation culture from the very beginning? And so during the onboarding process, we teach them, we just spend like 20 minutes doing this, but we teach them basically the literature, they've been called innovation discovery skills. Just like question what's going on around you, right? Observe things that kind of seem out of place. Like Doug Hall shared, as you talked about, Bill, stop the stupid. If you see us doing something stupid for customers, raise the alarm and let's make sure we get that corrected. And in the beginning, just preparing people, like, we're here to make everything better. We're here to innovate and create a better customer experience. You're part of that, and you do that by these simple things, right? Observe what's going on, ask questions, challenge the status quo. You have the freedom to make things better. And I just thought that was what a great way to establish the culture right from the beginning that innovation matters to us. I'm going to throw out a bonus one since we all covered that. And this was Mike Hyzy last year, and that was St. Louis, right? Last year?
Correct. Yeah.
They run together. And so he's the VP of Strategy and Innovation for a really large consulting company that I don't know details of. It's called CGI. But he did this innovation design sprint that I got to sit in on. I don't recall, were either one of you in the room?
That was the afternoon workshops.
So. Yeah, it was a workshop.
Yeah, I think Spike, you were in that one.
Oh, the AI workshop?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, that was fantastic.
I know. So a lot of us know the design sprint approach, and we've had the authors of that, the design sprint out of Google. They've been on the podcast before, which is a 5-day format for basically doing a design thinking sort of thing where you're trying to understand and uncover a problem a customer has, think about possible solutions, prototype those, and end up with something at the end that customers say, yeah, that's something that I would like, and let's move forward with that. We basically did the 5 days worth of work in a 3-hour sprint session, complemented with a AI companion, in the sense that we had our human teams, right? So you were in a human team. There were 4 of us humans on my team, and we had then our AI prompt person that was the AI presence who was helping us out, right? And we would come up with information. We would say, hey, let's find out more about this persona. Let's understand some needs here. Can we get some help making marketing copy? Can we do some prototypes works? I was amazed at how much we got done in 3 hours. We weren't going out and talking to real customers. We were talking to other people in the room to get some other inputs outside of the team, which was good. And we would obviously rely on everything that the AI told us without talking to real customers. But wow, what an incredible start in 3 hours. So I really appreciate what Mike did for everyone in that workshop.
A Shark Tank style presentation at the end that we had to get
Right.
to all the grooves. Yeah, it was fun. It was a really
Yeah.
good workshop.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, so those are some takeaways from past conferences. Give us a sense. You two are sitting on the committee putting together the conference in September. That's coming up now. Summer's going by too quickly. So in just a couple months, we're going to be there. Give us a sense of what we should be able to take away from that. What do you think will be some learnings that come out of it?
I'll let you go first, Spike, so I don't steal yours this time.
Thank you. Thank you. So one of the biggest things that initiatives that we put forth was that we want people to leave with tangible, practical tools that they can use immediately. And that's one of the biggest things. So these speakers that are coming in, it's not just people talking theory or people talking in a vacuum. We required use cases as part of the submission process. Like, these speakers are going to give you tangible tools that you can use in your company when you leave, and it's going to be laid out for you in easy to use fashion, saying, here's what we did, here's how we did it, go forth and use it. And that's the idea behind what we're trying to do here, is to really get people to be able to take home some practical tools.
Excellent. What do you think, Bill?
So one of the things is we try to build out the tracks and everything so that they're connected, that it's just not a bunch of random sessions. And so we're driving to some key tracks this year that I think anyone can find a track or cross the tracks if you want to, but find areas that will really help them drive. One is innovation execution, the other is product and innovation strategy, and maybe the one I'm most excited for is the Deming Institute track. So we're partnering with the Deming Institute, Doug Hall and Maggie Nichols from Eureka Ranch, along with Kevin Cahill, who is Deming's grandson and executive director of the Deming Institute, are going to do a full track, and they're going to go through how you tie the systems thinking and processes that Deming developed for manufacturing to your innovation process to actually drive operational excellence in your innovation process. And it's going to be 3 breakout sessions in that track. And I'm just really looking forward to that track because of just how we've been talking about everybody can innovate and everything. And innovation isn't just that light bulb moment. Innovation is a process, and there are ways you can make innovation more efficient and effective for your company. And they're going to help bring that home and teach you how you can do that at your company. And so I'm really excited about that one. And then second one I'm excited about, I'm going to give another shout out to the Outstanding Corporate Innovator Award. I'm on the team that helps select the winners. I can't say who the winners are right now
Right.
because the press release will be coming out in a couple weeks.
It's a sealed envelope,
It's a
not to
sealed
be
envelope.
opened.
Yep. And we're not going to read La La Land when we say who the winners are. We're going to know
Okay.
who the real winner is. But both of these, there's 2 winners, and their stories are really incredible, and especially because they bookend. One is a over 100-year-old company that's reinvented itself. Another is a very young company that is just growing and is so effective in its innovation process from what you'd expect from a company of their age and size and the systems they have in place. So if you're working in a large company and you're coming to the summit, you can really learn how you can help your company get rid of some of the stuff that's slowing you down and really become fast and agile. And if you're in a smaller mid-sized company that's growing, you can learn how that you can keep that growth going while bringing in key innovation processes that help you just really outpace your competition.
Fantastic. Very good.
Yeah,
The
I didn't know we were going to say specifics. So I have a couple specifics that
Adam
I would
on.
like. Yeah, exactly. So the research to reality session. So this is where we're bringing in the academics and the practitioners together. This is pretty unique to PDMA that we partner with the Journal Product Innovation Management and the folks on the academic side, and we're bringing in Chicago Futures Salon to run this session. And it's like part playground, part pressure chamber, where it's all really interactive to learn how to grow and use your imagination for innovation. And Phillips and Company running a mastermind session. You're get in roundtables and discuss your current challenges, and we can do it together as academics and practitioners. The other thing is the workshops. We were just discussing workshops. I am torn between the two workshops that we have. We've got Jay Nakagawa from Dell running Strategic War Games workshop, which is going to be fantastic. And then we have Dave Robertson.
Just real quick, so on Jay from Dell, this guy
Yeah.
is a competitive analysis guru, and
Yes.
I heard and he may have done this session last year, perhaps, or the year before, him talking about some of the competitive analysis strategies that they use inside of Dell to basically back into what competitors are doing. I was just amazed at the insights that were shared that I have never read or heard about anywhere else when it comes to competitive intelligence. And this guy really has has things wired. If you want to find out something, he knows a way to back into it and to get this figured out.
It's going to be fantastic. So he's running that War Games workshop. And then we got Dave Robertson from MIT running AI application workshop. So I signed up for one of them for the sake of registration, but I'm still on the fence. They're both too good. I don't know yet. I wish we don't have cloning yet. So maybe my summit will have that.
Speaking of that, is the conference recording sessions and making that available later to people to attend?
Yeah, we'll be recording the general session area. Okay. So all the keynotes, the lightning talks, those kinds of things.
Okay. Yeah. So if you miss some of the big things, you can catch up, and that's helpful as well. Yeah.
And then the ghost tour. Bill and I try to go to a ghost tour at every host city. So I got to look forward to the ghost tour with Bill.
So there's another ghost tour going on.
Oh, yeah, there's got to be.
Why not? Which is also a good networking opportunity, which I think is a key benefit of any conference, right? It's the opportunity to come and meet other people and find out what they're doing. And like Bill, you introduced earlier, the dinner that you went to that one night to meet other random people. And now they're product management colleagues that have helped your career, and you've been able to help them as well. I think that's really valuable. One thing that I like about this conference, probably frankly attracted me towards it compared to others, product management in the last 10, 20 years has largely been thought of as a software profession. And oddly enough, we all know it started really at Procter & Gamble and consumer products, and the discipline grew up across the industries. And the name kind of got in some way stolen by the software. I'm a software product manager, right? That's my background. And I distinctly remember that this was the group that met once a month in Denver of product managers. There were about 40 of us that got together. And one guy there was with a company that did building products. So it built building supplies. And he was talking to me about roofing systems. And we were talking about, well, how do you understand what your customers need, right? This is just so foreign to me. He said, I went one Saturday morning to Home Depot, and I stood in the aisle and watched people pulling off asphalt tiles for their roof. And when I see them grabbing one, I just ask them, so, hey, what are you working on? Why did you choose that one? Did you consider this other one over here? Right? Just engage them in conversation about their decision. I'm like, what a simple, scrappy approach. And I started learning that people in not my industry had really interesting insights that helped me in my industry, right, with software product. And I think that's what drew me to my affinity for the conference and the group is people across industries are getting together talking about how they develop products. And some of those are software products, some of those are consumer goods, some of them are services, manufactured products, all kinds of things. And the ability to learn from what's going on in product innovation, product management, and the other industries, I think is really unique and not found, right? Like I like Mind the Product as a conference, but it's going to be a software-focused conference. And the opportunity to hear from people in these different disciplines is really enriching. I think we're missing out if we're not talking to people in other industries. And it's easy to do that. And so if you do attend the conference, anyone listening, don't be sitting at a table before a session starts, not talking to anyone. Engage people in conversation. People are eager to talk about what they're doing and find out about what you're doing as well. I did want to real briefly mention, because I knowing who was going to be the keynote speakers for the conference coming up, I reached out to each one of them and asked if they wanted to be on the podcast. And 2 of the 3 of those episodes are out, maybe all 3 by the time you're listening to this. So real quickly, if you go back to episode 546, so productmasterynow.com/546 would be Jod Kaftan. And at the time, we talked about his transition a little bit in the interview, but at the time that we talked, he was the director of design for Oracle and really a futurist, right? He's looking at scenario planning and how you envision the possible aspects of the future, and fun discussion. Ben Britton was back on, interviewed him 8 years ago and came back. He's the VP of Innovation at Snap-on Tools, and that's episode 548. And I've always respected his work, looking forward to meeting him in person at the conference this year. Ben, the story I always share, my takeaway from his conversations on the podcast, the way that he does innovation at Snap-on Tools, he is out in the field with customers 4 days a week, and he brings with him people from Snap-on, right? Pretty simple, right? He'll bring an engineer, he'll bring a product manager, he'll bring someone in finance if they want to find out what is it that we really do for customers and what is it like for a customer to use our tools. He's helping the organization understand how customers are using the tools and what else they need. It's a simple to articulate approach to innovation, right? Get out and know what your customers need. And then Robb and Champ is, yeah, go ahead.
Shout out Snap-on Tools, Kenosha, Wisconsin's finest. Great organization.
Close by, right? For you?
Close by. Hometown.
Yep. And not far from Chicago. So.
Not far, 40 minutes.
And the third keynote is Robb and Champ. She has been in several strategy development roles, including as a strategy director for the Secret Service, protecting the President of the United States. And she just brings a rich perspective on strategy development and also looking at that in the context of what might happen in the future and doing some foresighting work and understanding scenarios and the uncertainties involved and trying to figure out what should the strategy be as we move forward when we can't be sure what's going to happen. That was episode 553. So good keynotes to meet at the conference as well, in addition to all the session leaders and workshop leaders. What are your thoughts on anything we left out that you would want to say, like, this is why you should think about coming to this conference?
I think one thing we didn't, Bill, you and I didn't touch on too much, but was this idea of the networking aspect. Like we talked about the sessions and all that, but really the networking that you get here is incredible because you can dive deep in with people. You're not lost in a sea of thousands of people. Everybody there is incredibly friendly. And if you want to talk to somebody, that's something we're going to initiate too as part of it, is like a wall where if you have needs, you can find out who can help you get those needs, whether it's career or product stuff or something like that. But the networking aspect of this is so much fun and so laid back, and you two can both attest to it. You can really gain a lot of really good connections here.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And you stole mine this time. So
Nice.
I was going to talk about the networking, but there's a couple of things that will really help with that. We're doing mastermind sessions, which I don't know if we mentioned that yet, but they're guided brainstorming sessions where you're at a table with a group of people and we're going to be going through challenges and problems that people in product face, people in innovation face, and having deep discussions within your table. And it's kind of also like a speed dating where we're going to go through several different topics and really pull a lot of insights out of that and get some shared experiences, but also some shared problem solving to help you network with people, but also address real problems that you're facing in your job today on a daily basis. And then on a Monday night, there's an excursion to the M Hub in Chicago, which is a innovation center in Chicago that has stuff for startups, stuff for existing corporations. And we did a tour there when we were in Chicago back in 2017 or 18. I can't remember which year it was. We were in Chicago those 2 years. But looking forward to that because that's in the evening and it's a short bus ride. We'll have the buses and transportation over there. You sign up for it when you're signing up for the summit. But again, it's a really good chance to get that networking and connections while also learning more about innovations.
Fantastic. Good opportunities to meet people that are also passionate about product development, product management, product innovation. And it's why it's been on my list. It is the annual conference that I try to make whenever I possibly can. Looking forward to it once again. The dilemma, as you expressed, Spike, will probably be, figuring out of which workshop or which session at times to try to attend. I will also be there interviewing some of the speakers along the way. And if you happen to be listening and you come, please find me. I would love to meet you and know that you showed up because you heard this as well. But it's always good to meet other people doing product work. We do like finishing out with innovation quotes. And I asked you both to bring one. If you can tell us what that is and briefly share what that means to you, that would be helpful. Spike, let's start with you.
So my quote is, someone is going to make your product obsolete, make sure it's you. And that's from Edwin Land of Polaroid fame. And really, that's about just keep going. Just keep going and do not stop. Yes, celebrate your wins, but use this momentum to keep going and keep getting better. That's what it's about. Or else someone is going to take. Competition is very real. But you can, if you make this product, just keep making it better and keep making everything you're doing better.
Like it. Thanks for sharing his. And how about you? What do you have for us, Bill?
Well, mine's not the same as Spike's, but has the same direction and intent as Spike's. Mine is, I can't spare this man, he fights, from Abraham Lincoln, and talking about Ulysses S. Grant. And it's because I believe that's critically important to innovation. It's going to have your ups and downs. There's going to be times where it's tough, but you need to find people that are going to keep fighting, keep moving forward towards your vision for the product, for the organization. And it's a key quality I look for in the team members that I bring on. And with that resilience, that self-initiative, the ability to adapt and continuously fight for the end goal. So just like the Land quote, keep going.
Like it. Very
Bill
good.
and I obviously work well together because this is exactly how we operate.
So you probably finish each other's sentences some of the time.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
Great minds think alike, apparently. Okay, thank you so much for the information, for sharing information about the conference as well. And Spike, as we were talking earlier, you also said that PDMA put something together special for listeners.
Yeah, so everything we've talked about in terms of the speakers, the schedule, the sessions, that's all available at pdmasummit.com. So check out that website. You can register there. And when you do register, use the code PDMACHAD20 and you'll get 20% off your registration for the All Access Pass or the Summit Pass.
Fantastic. So 20% off at the conference, All Access Pass, Summit Pass by using PDMA, the letters, CHAD 20. Fantastic. That's a great thing. Thanks to PDMA for doing that for listeners. And I'll make sure that link is to the conference site is in the show notes along with that discount code to use as well. But you can go there now and find the information and use that code. So guys, Spike, Bill, really appreciate you sharing the information. I'm looking forward to the conference again, excited about being there and meeting up and participating in the sessions and hearing some great new insights this year.
Thank you, Chad.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chad, for having us. And yeah, we look forward to having you at the summit and seeing you in person, going out to dinner.
It'll be great. And listeners, to find that written information, the links and that code again, PDMA CHAD 20 for the discount. If you need to get anything else out of this interview that you want in a written version, all that is at productmasterynow.com/2025. So that's the current year. It's not one of our normal episode numbers, productmasterynow.com/2025, and you'll find this special episode. Thanks again, everyone. And as always, keep innovating.
Thank you for listening to Product Mastery Now, where product leaders and managers gain product mastery through practical knowledge, influence, and confidence. By listening, you are becoming a product master, creating products customers love. Find additional resources at productmasterynow.com. Keep innovating.